of our program of work this morning. I now briefly pause the meeting for the podium to be rearranged so we can proceed to session 1. Please remain seated. I thank you.
Please, ladies and gentlemen, colleagues, take your seats. We're about to begin. Please, could you take your seats? We're about to begin now. Excelencias,
Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, I invite the forum to begin its session 1 on the impact of rapid technological change on the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals. In this, the first session, we will highlight global trends and responses in keeping with Resolution 72/242, which gives a mandate to this forum, and that is operative paragraph 4 of GA Resolution 72/242, which mandates the forum to include in this session the impact of rapid technological change on the objectives or the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals, including cases in which changes may occur at an exponential pace. As we already heard from the various speakers, they've referred to this technological impact on the work done by the UN on implementing the SDGs, which is what this committee deals with. This session will also discuss various emerging technology clusters, such as artificial intelligence, biotechnology, and nanotechnology. Before we proceed with this first panel, I would like to invite the Chief Economist and Assistant Secretary General of Economic Development at the Department of Economic and Social Affairs, Mr. Elliot Harris, to make a presentation on the mandated mechanism in keeping with his mandate, namely what his group has found. A cordial welcome to Mr. Elliot.
Your Excellency Vice Minister, Mr. Miguel Ruiz Cabañas, Your Excellency Vice Chair of the Commission of Science and Technology for Development, Mr. Peter Major, Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. At the time available will necessarily be selective, an overview of the wide-ranging discussions that have been going on in the TFM on this topic since 2016. The Interagency Task Team, IATT's, information paper on their preliminary findings will be posted on the forum's website soon. Over 200 pages, this paper synthesizes the evidence and conclusions from 8 meetings and sessions under the TFM umbrella, 10 recent UN system reports and publications, written inputs from the IATT and the 10-member group, and 39 science policy briefs. It represents a collaborative and multi-stakeholder effort with well over 100 expert contributors. This broad and diverse contributor base testifies to the convening power of a multi-stakeholder TFM with institutionalized entry points for science. Most striking for me, the majority of contributions have come from developing country nationals from all around the world, and almost half of the contributions have been from women. While coordinated by the Department of Economics and Social Affairs and the UN Conference on Trade and Development, UNCTAD, this work could not have been accomplished without the engagement of all the other 34 UN system entities that are part of the IATT, and I wish to commend them all here. I commend also the TFM 10-member group for their tireless mobilization of stakeholder contributions over the past 2 years, including those from the International Council for Science and from the Major Group on Children and Youth. Of course, the views within this highly diverse TFM community differ, but there is also consensus on many points. The IATT approach has been to not try to force a synthesis, but instead to document the debate, the evidence, and the recommendations put forward, and is that which I will report on here today. The IATT paper begins by discussing the different ways in which people think and talk about rapid technological change. Many terms are used, but I agree with the IATT that we should not get hung up on technology. We will know it when we see it. There's much evidence of fast and increasing pace of technological change. Innovation cycles have shortened, and progress in one group or cluster of technologies fuels and accelerates progress in others, in a self-reinforcing loop. For example, progress in digital technologies drives progress in nanotechnology, and vice versa. And modern biotechnology would be impossible without the modern computing power that has recently become available. The IATT's information paper comprises chapters on technology change in general, artificial intelligence and automation in particular, natural environment considerations, economic prosperity and development considerations, societal harmony considerations, future perspectives, conclusions and recommendations, as well as annexes with policy briefs and summaries of the IATT-related meetings and UN system documents. It is a living document that the IATT will continue to update and improve over the coming months, and these findings that I present today are only a starting point. I therefore encourage you all to continue to send in your evidence-based inputs and ideas to the IATT Secretariat for inclusion in these updates. Ladies and gentlemen, now to highlight a few of the key points from the report. Digital technologies, robotics, artificial intelligence and automation, biotechnology, nanotechnology, all of these have fundamental and far-reaching impacts on the economy, on society, on the environment, and they can be felt in all countries. These new technologies hold great promise, therefore, for achieving the SDGs. They could help to eradicate poverty. They can bring high-quality education to all. They can help us find cures for the most intractable diseases, and they can expand mankind's knowledge base. They can greatly improve the efficiency with which we use resources. They can also improve governance, accountability, and inclusion. And finally, they can help to make possible a fully renewable and circular economy. The potential benefits are so great that we simply cannot afford not to make wise use of these technologies. But at the same time, risks abound. Benefits are not equally distributed, and new technologies often have unanticipated adverse consequences. The benefits could be long-lasting, but the potential negative impacts, too, could become entrenched and difficult to resolve. Technological change has never been neutral. It creates winners and losers. There are already technology gaps between and within countries, between men and women, and across social groups. These gaps often correspond to differences in infrastructure, access, and capacities, but they also give rise to fears that many could be stuck in long-run, low-technology traps. Unless we act proactively, existing inequalities could be exacerbated or further entrenched within the SDG framework.